Hi, glad you could join us. I'm Annette Sherman. This is Community. Community is the name of the program. We deal with what's happening in the community, and sometimes we talk about aspects of our community that you may not be familiar with. Then again, you may be very familiar with them, and our audience is devoted to what we talk about, and the reason for it is because they love living in Sarasota, as most people do who live here. What a wonderful community we have. One of the organizations that I consider wonderful has an unusual name. They're called Cyesis. Now, maybe you've heard the word Cyesis, or maybe you know of the organization. We're going to be talking about Cyesis today and the amazing work that they do. And if it is something that you think, as we think, is important, well, we'd like to hear from you. We'd like to hear from you in many ways. We'd like to hear from you in a way that lets us know that you think it's important too. And also, you may want to write a check. Let me introduce my two guests, and they're wonderful and beautiful and very hardworking, and they love what they do. Let's start with Tricia Giesiger.
Hi, Annette.
Geisiger?
Giesiger.
Giesiger. Not an easy name to look at and pronounce, but you get it straight for Giesiger. And Tricia is with Cyesis, and she is the child care director. And I'm going to find out more about you personally in just a moment. Then we have Meredith Piazza.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And Meredith, what's LCSW?
Licensed clinical social worker.
Louder, I can't hear you.
Licensed clinical social worker.
Oh, licensed clinical social worker. That works, LCSW.
Yes.
Very good. And she also is with Cyesis as a social worker. Okay, but many of you out there know what Cyesis is and say, oh my goodness, I'm very curious to hear these two young women and find out more, because I know what Cyesis does. Some of you, and I think the majority of you, do not know what Cyesis is and what Cyesis does. So the first thing I'm going to talk about very quickly is a little bit about your background. And then we're going to ask you to define Cyesis and to tell us what Cyesis means in terms of the organization here. Okay. Tricia, tell me about your background.
Okay, well, I'm brand new to Cyesis. I started in August.
I can't hear you.
I'm brand new to Cyesis. I started in August of 2018.
Well, that's not brand new. Like yesterday is brand new. Last week.
Newer.
Okay.
And
What did you do before Cyesis?
I was an elementary school teacher for 8 years, and then I was a preschool director for 4.5 years prior to starting with Cyesis.
Okay, if someone walked up to each of you separately and said, what is Cyesis? What would you answer them?
I would say that it's our teen parent program for Sarasota.
A teen parent program. That's all you'd say. That would be adequate. Oh, no. I'm not judging what you said, but you feel that would be adequate. What would you answer? What is Cyesis?
I would say similar, teen parent program. So an opportunity for a pregnant teenager to go to high school.
All right, you've added that. All right, that's information. I don't know whether, well, most of you out there are probably older because our population is older. But I remember if a young lady became pregnant, and you know, if you logically think about it, in today's society particularly, this could easily happen, not anything anybody planned, and the young lady finds herself pregnant. Well, what then? When I was a teenager and that happened, she would go to have to find somebody who would perform an abortion and risk her life, because it generally was performed by someone who shouldn't be performing it under very unsanitary conditions. And it was very expensive, and it was very shameful. However, today we understand more. We understand that it could easily happen, particularly in our society today, where that kind of thing is more acceptable than it was when I was a teenager, so that this could happen. When it happens, what does she do? What does that young lady do? Well, let's find out. What typically does one of your clients do when they know learn they're pregnant?
So we have, no matter what high
I
school.
can't hear you.
At their high school, they would go to a nurse or a guidance counselor and let them know that they were pregnant. Then they would call me, and I visit all of the high schools, Riverview, Sarasota, Booker, and I meet with the girls, and they transfer to Riverview High School and enroll in Cyesis. And so that way, we ensure that they are getting prenatal care, so helping them get to the doctor, and we start parenting classes.
Okay, now you use the word Cyesis, I think it's the first time on the program today. Cyesis is the organization that you work for. If someone walked up to you and said, I'm really from the moon, I was
Yep.
visiting Earth, but I saw the name Cyesis. What is it?
It's the teen parent program at Riverview High School.
Okay. And it works with young women.
Yes.
What happens to the fathers?
The fathers are welcome to come to school also.
I can't hear you.
The fathers are welcome to come and enroll at
Does
Riverview.
some of them come?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, so we're really making advancements.
Yes.
And did you take the I was going to say bracelet off his ankle so he can leave? No, but you don't have to do that. If they show up, then they're interested enough to come back a second time, maybe more than that.
Yep.
I have pictures that I'm not permitted to show you of these little adorable children. What age are they accepted in Cyesis? Now, I know the mother is accepted, but the children that are now part of the Cyesis program that you see every day.
As long as the parent is enrolled in high school, we can take a child up to the age of 5 years of age. So they come as early as 2 weeks old, and they can stay up to the age of 5 as long as mom is enrolled in high school.
Okay, that's really marvelous that it goes on that long. What did you do before joining Cyesis?
So I was born in Sarasota.
Oh, really? You're the
Yes.
one.
Yes. So I grew up here. I went to college at Tulane in New Orleans and lived in Washington, D.C. and traveled and moved back here. I went to graduate school to become a social worker, and I worked as a child and family therapist in the community for about 10 years. And I started to work as a therapist with Cyesis and then was hired there last year.
Now, you're married.
Correct.
And you have 2 children of
Yes,
your own?
I do.
How old are they?
7 and 9.
7 and 9.
Yes.
Perfect timing.
Yes. First grade and fourth grade.
All right, now how did you get away to go to take care of the Cyesis children? Who takes care of your 2 children?
So my husband gets them ready for school and takes them to school. We go to work, and then I pick them up from school.
Sounds like a perfect
Yes.
system.
Yes.
It utilizes your skills, and it is something that I know when I only had one. When and Andy was little, I wanted to be with him when he was tiny.
Yes.
But then he got older when he was old enough to go to school, and he really didn't need me or want me around much. I went back full time to work, and I appreciated being able to do that and
Yes.
come home to him and spend the time with him every day in that manner, because sometimes when it's your first child, it's overwhelming.
Yes.
And if you want to keep a job and take care of that child, it's very difficult to do. Okay, tell about your situation. You work.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm married also for 10 years, and
I can't hear you.
I'm married also,
Okay.
and I have 2 children who are 8 and 5, and both
What are the ages?
8 and 5.
Oh, that's good timing.
Yeah, and they're both in school here in Sarasota County, and my husband takes them and gets them ready for school in the morning, and then I pick them up after school in the afternoons.
Wonderful. I think that's wonderful because I know, speaking to you before we went into the studio to do the program, that you love your work, and it's something that you feel very satisfied with.
Yes.
And you know you're doing something special. And you're helping these girls and helping the little ones. Lucy Rubley, who is my assistant, is a very devoted person to Cyesis.
Yes.
She goes and she spends, I guess, I don't remember the day, I think it's Wednesday. But I said to her, a couple of weeks ago something about, I need you to work with me. Oh, no, she said, I can't do that. Today is my Cyesis day. And off she went to Cyesis. And she's got 5 children that she gave birth to, and numerous children that adore her, and we all adore Lucy. Okay, we have a video that, who produced this video? Because I saw part of it in the control room. It's very good.
The school board produced the video. The school board put this video
Amazing.
out about 5 years ago.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Okay, let's see some of that video, and I don't want to use too much of the program time, but let's see the first 5 minutes of it, okay?
Cyesis started over 30 years ago. It was in response to the community's concern of having pregnant and parenting teens drop out. In the 1980s, we actually became a state model program for the state of Florida. It started actually as a little portable off SCTI's campus. It grew to a rather large campus on Beneva Road, and they actually moved here about 3 years ago.
Cyesis offers a wonderful opportunity to parents, not only the mothers but the fathers.
At Cyesis, we provide not only education and a way to continue their academic education, parenting education, but also a network of support. And they choose Cyesis because they know that they can learn here to be the best parent they can be.
It's a one-of-a-kind program offered only at Riverview High School and at Northport High School, where students can have the opportunity to go to school with their babies and still continue to that goal of high school graduation.
You know, we really try to have an open door policy where they can come in and ask questions, providing all the activities and things they have for the babies and the child care, how they have all these, like, the parenting education classes that tells you what to do and what not to do, and they go through these things every day with us.
It's really important. They're able to see other students that are modeling good parenting. Child care providers are highly trained and they're interactive. They're a step beyond.
The help that they give, like all the extra programs, they help you find jobs, outside of school, like to help better you in the future.
They're going to be supported in their decision to continue their education.
Well, the Cyesis program is set up to give students who are pregnant or with a child the opportunity to pursue their education in high school while having child care and parenting classes.
It's a better option because of all the services that are available, and the daycare setting is a huge component here.
There's a lot of specialized parenting classes.
The facilitators then plan the curriculum around what their needs are.
I enjoy about Cyesis that they have a daycare in the same school I am, so I can see him.
It's just great. It helps you so much with school, helps you deal with the child development thing. And it's good. I will recommend it.
For all those reasons and more, we are the premier infant, toddler, and center in the county.
Okay, there is a little more to that video, but we want to get to other things and have enough time to cover it all. How many, let's talk about the mothers. Okay, a teenager finds herself pregnant. And in today's society, I keep saying in today's society, but it was not that different when I was a teenager. I mean, I had a friend who became pregnant, and she just was absolutely destroyed by it almost, because there was no Cyesis for her to go to. There was no protective organization that knows everything and knows how to take care of her, and have people like the two of you working with the children and working with the mothers. I think this is a wonderful thing. I don't think that being pregnant without being married is a wonderful thing, but it happens.
Right.
And it happens in today's society, particularly if you look at our movies and look at some of the things that talk about sex so freely, that it's not surprising. However, what do they do? What do they, now let's you can both share the information here. How do you work for the organization, for Cyesis? Okay. Well, is that a fact?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. And your job entails how many hours a day do you go in, just roughly?
7.5 hours.
Oh, so it's a full day. It's a full day. Same thing for you,
Yes.
7.5 hours? Okay. Part of your work, tell us some of the things that perhaps are usual and some of the things that are unusual that happen that challenge you greatly.
Well, I'm the child care director, and so my job basically consists of organizing my staff and educating them in our curriculum.
How many little ones do you have?
We probably have, in total, 56 children on the grounds. Now, not all of those are teen.
I've got to recover from the shock. 56 children.
It's a fully operating preschool, and we're partnered with Children First, which is a community program that offers childcare to the weakest in the community also. So we've partnered with them, and that partnership allows us to give more supports to our teen parents.
What would happen if there was no Cyesis to these children?
They wouldn't be in school.
They would drop out.
They wouldn't be in school. They would have problems with other problems that you looked into and you looked to help them with.
Yes.
Because you're the professionals here. So it is just a godsend that Cyesis exists. Because I had a friend, I think I started speaking about, who became pregnant.
Yes.
And it was hell for her.
Right.
It was hell for her for years. I don't think she ever got over it. I lost touch with her because I no longer live in the neighborhood. But I could see where the teenage girls are so thankful for Cyesis because they receive guidance. They don't feel alone.
Right.
And the children don't feel alone. That they don't know the circumstances, but they know that there are other children there and other mothers there and women and people who are taking care of them and are concerned about them. Bless you for the kind of thing that you're doing and the kind of work that you're doing and you're qualified for. So that's wonderful. What would you say is each of you, is the most complicated or difficult aspect of your work?
The teenagers themselves are coming from very hard circumstances.
By and large.
Many are living in poverty. Many are really doing this on their own. Some have experienced abuse and neglect. Some don't have anything to eat at home. So it's challenging in that knowing in our community they are struggling.
And the information that was sent to me, I read that the majority of young women who do get pregnant are from circumstances that are less than marvelous.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to tell this story very quickly because I want my audience to respond. I want you to respond because we have not only the teenage mom, but we have that little innocent person being born. They didn't ask to be born, but there he or she is and can have a very happy life if we all do just a little bit to help. Last time I did a program with Cyesis was about 10 years ago, and lovely young women such as yourself on, and I had one of the mothers come on. I wish I had one of the babies come on, but you didn't let us have it. And about 4 or 5 days after the program aired, I got a call from this Dr. So-and-so, doctor in our community, and still is. And he said, I sent you a check, but I never heard anything from you. Well, I thought, well, if everyone wants to hear something from me who sends me a check, is not going to be able to do that. I said, tell me your name. And he said, Dr. So-and-so. And he said, the reason I want to know it, because the check was never cashed. He said, and it was for $5,000. I suddenly liked this man much more, and I was happy to speak to him. I said, well, doctor, I think I remember that check because the check was $5,000, and I put it in a drawer thinking I'd send you a personal letter thanking you, but I never did, and I never cashed the check or gave it to the Cyesis people. But when I hang up this phone, it'll be the first thing I do, and I know these people there will send you a special thank you note. Okay, so if you're going to donate $5,000, Rest assured, if you're going to donate $1,000, if you're going to donate $1, because all the donations are welcome. You'll get a personal kind of either postcard or a letter from
Yes.
these two beautiful young women who, not from both of them, from one or the other. They'll probably flip a coin. And anyway, I'm still unhappy and embarrassed about that. And every time I see the doctor, and he's still a doctor in Sarasota, I say, please forgive me. And he says, you've been forgiven 6 years ago, you know. Wonderful person and still a supporter of Cyesis. I don't know that we have the address. Did we give the address? Yes. Would you put that on the screen, please? Whoever is back there making those decisions, put that address on the screen, or the phone number is on the screen. So if you want any information, you can call that phone number and find out about various different things. You may want more information than we're giving you in this limited half hour about maybe your daughter or somebody who has a child out of wedlock, and what the circumstance, or you'd like to volunteer, as my assistant Lucy Rubley does. Go and volunteer with Cyesis, because she loves children. As I said earlier, she has 5 of her own, and she's probably taken care of God knows how many. But she loves children, and she loves going to Cyesis. And I said, does the little one know? Oh, she said, yes. They stretch out their arms to me, Lucy, Lucy. And the ones that are old enough to speak. So there's that, too. If you want to volunteer some time to Cyesis, call the number on your screen and tell them that you'd like to do that. And they'd be very happy to have you there. Now, these two very beautiful, very capable young women work very hard. And they love the children they work with, and they know how important it is. I hope we've reached you out there, my audience, so that you understand how important it is to give these children not only the care, but what some of their needs. And some of these families are not very well off.
Right.
So we want your help, and if you want to join Cyesis and be part of the organization, call that number and find out how to do that, because I'm not going to take that much time today, just as the number is on the screen. Okay. The most wonderful part and the most difficult part of your job.
I would say the most wonderful part of my job is...
I can't hear you.
I would say the most wonderful part of my job is holding one of the babies every day and just getting to love and bond with the children.
There's nothing more pleasurable than taking a baby in your arms, and if you well, I only had one, and I've had my life to live over. That's the one thing I change. I'd have at least 3, and or more, like Lucy. It's 5, as I said earlier, 5 minutes now. See, she gives me the 5 minutes sign because I talked about her 5 children. At any rate, time goes very quickly. We only have 5 minutes. What message would you like to pass along to parents who have a difficult time taking care of the children that they've given birth to?
I think we know parenting is the hardest job that there is, and to know that they're not alone. There's no such thing as a perfect parent. We all can just be good enough. I think it's important to find your village, they say, and that's what Cyesis provides, a network of other mothers, a network of professionals who care, and that's what's so important about the job, is that we care about each student. We want them to be the best parent they can be, but they matter, and we think about them. We love their babies, but we love them.
It's very nice to have a job that you feel has significance.
Yes.
And that is, I could shout it from the rooftops. Very important. And the job that you do, you must sleep very well at night, because you know that you're doing, when you get up to work, go to work, you're going to do some good, not only for the little darlings, but for the moms as well.
Yes.
And the dads. Do the dads get active?
There's a few. There's
Yes.
a few.
Yes. Because they feel that you guys are interested,
Yes.
and it's a good thing for them to become involved as well. And it's their little human being, their
Right.
child. Yes. Okay. What you have needs? Currently, you're working out of high school.
Yes.
Is that a perfect situation for you?
Yes, we have a large area part of Riverview High School with a playground and nurseries.
Oh my, okay.
Yes. We just a lot of times help out with diapers and clothing for
You want
the children.
parents to come in and help you?
We need help in any way. Volunteers holding the babies, diaper drives. Churches have helped and have brought diapers in, or another school may do a gift card drive so the mothers can go buy clothes for their babies.
How about toys?
Toys, books. You know, we receive a lot of wonderful donations because we don't ever want them to be without. I don't want a mom to go home without clean clothes for their baby or diapers for their baby. So we are willing to help in that area.
Okay, so here we're talking about needs. Now, if you want to contribute something, and maybe you have a baby who's outgrown those diapers and you've got lots and lots of diapers, I can suggest they put the telephone number on the screen, please, control room. Telephone number, there it goes, okay? Call them and find out when and where you can deliver those diapers or whatever you have. Toys that your child has outgrown, clothing your child has outgrown. Cyesis is a very, very rewarding feeling because these are not children that have a lot of wealth, and they're not children that have a rich grandmother that can give them come. I know what my mother would come and visit my son, and each time she came, she spoiled him. She'd bring another toy. And the poor kid, couldn't think of it. I remember a time when he was someone he used to play with, and we were invited to dinner at their home. And then it came time to leave, and I said, I better go upstairs and get Andy, my son. I came upstairs, and the room, his little friend's room, was immaculate. Andy's room, you had to push the toys away because every time my mother came or my in-laws came, they'd bring him a gift. So I said to the mother, whose home we were in, and this boy's room was so immaculate, I said, how do you get that to happen? She said, well, he does it. He gets a gift for his Christmas and a gift for his birthday. And he thinks all year round what he wants for those two gifts, and he takes such care of them.
Right.
Okay, so Lucy is waving goodbye to me. Lucy is not leaving. She means we have to go. Thank you for the work that you do, my very lovely guest.
The time really flew. We bid you adieu from community. If you want to know why we love it here, so check out Community. Well, it's a who's who, a what's, when, and where show. It's a mover and shaker.